I'm going to start this quick bite video with a question, and I want you to be 100% honest here in the comments. How many of you ever plumb the depth when you're feeder fishing? I think the percentage is incredibly low, and you could be missing out on some absolute dynamite spots that you just don't know they're there. Shallow bars, humps, depth variations. All this needs to be thought about rather than just casting your method into the middle of nowhere. Yes, we all know it will catch fish, but can you make your success better? You definitely can. So for me, we're method feeder fishing here, but this works for any kind of feeder fishing, rivers, lakes, it doesn't matter, the process is the same. So I use a system that lets me take off my feeder, because when you plumb the depth on a lead or on a rod, you don't want to be using a feeder, you want to be using a lead. So for me, an interchangeable system, and you want to make sure you use the same lead every time. So it's a 30 gram for me, and it's on the interchangeable system. So how quick that was to change over. Now I'm going to give myself a chance to find out if there's any wicked places to fish. Like I said, you could just cast it anywhere, but you never know what you're missing out on. So I've never fished this area before. I have no idea how deep it is. So to plumb up on a rod, all we need to do, as soon as this lead hits the water, we need to count. So 1, 2, 3, just over 3 seconds there. Now, as a rough guide, this is very different for everyone using different leads and sizes, but that 30 gram square pair will sink roughly 3 foot a second. So I would guess that's about 10 foot where I just cast. So if I was to now think, right, we've got 10 foot there, let's go a couple of rod lengths towards this corner and let's see what we've got just there. So we're going to do the same thing again, hit the clip, 1, 2, 3, about the same. Just maybe a little bit, maybe 9 foot there. So not much depth variation there, but within a couple of casts, you can soon get a little bit of a depth change. I'm going to do the same again. I'm going to come further into this corner and we're going more towards the reeds. 1, 2, just 2 basically. So we're talking 6 foot there. So already what we're seeing is it's got like 10 foot, probably coming up slowly, 6 foot. And I'm going to guess, let's do it. If we go right next to them reeds, we're going to be coming even closer and probably less of a count again. So let's just try right next to those reeds. 1, 1. So there you go. So we've got 10 foot coming up to about 3 foot. Now without doing that, that's only taken me 4 casts to understand that where I'm fishing in front of me is probably a nice gradual slope into deeper water. And it's super important to know that, especially different times of year, because depth of water is really, really important. And not only have I found there's a slope there, but if you've just got open water in front of you, you might find that 50 yards, there's a nice hump that comes up and a shallow area that fish are feeding on. So it is really, really important to get that right and make sure you just have a couple of casts to find out what you're fishing over. Like, so I don't think many people do it. It could be missing out on a few fish. So make sure you use the same thing every time. And I'll go one step further. If you're doing this as part of a team or something like that, because everyone counts at different times and different stuff, make sure you're using the same equipment. And you actually, my stopwatch I've got on my feeder arm here, on my leg, sorry, is my clicker. So what you can do, rather than counting it to get an exact one, we can cast in, hit the water, bam, 1, 2, 3, there we go, and at 3.2 seconds. So you can get a mega accurate result. So if you're doing it as part of a team and you want to sort of, you're asking your mate, how deep was it there? Like, you haven't got to guess is he counting 3 seconds the same as you. You can do it really accurately. But yeah, that's all I wanted to show you basically, is how important it can be to find out better areas to fish in your swim. And once you find the area you want to fish, so for me, I would want to fish, I don't want to be in that 10 foot today, springtime, I want to be in the shallow water. So we'll go to near the reeds, but not in them. So where we had a count of just 2 there, so we're saying that's about 6 foot. And the other thing you can do is just give it a little bit of a pull. Just see if there's anything there. Can you feel any snags, anything like that? Just investigate that swim a little bit more. Now, if you could, I'd do this with a rod that had braid on. Now, most commercials don't allow braid, so for instance of this video, I'm not doing it. But yeah, finding out the depth, give it a little pull back once you find the depth you're happy with, and you can definitely put yourself in with a chance of catching a few more fish.